So thank you very, very much to Jane Porath, who's joining us from the University of Applied Labor Studies, also known as HdBA from Germany. And we will be hearing about the Academia Plus project. So Jane, please, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you for having me here at the Euroguidance Conference Competence for the Future. I'm talking to you from Oldenburg, that's far up in the northwest of Germany. And I would like to give you some insights to our project, Counselor Study and Training Exchange Program for Key Challenges of European Labor Markets and Societies. What I would like to do is to tell you, I hope that the presentation is working, yes, to tell you something about the background of the project, which we had, in short, the Academia Plus project. I would like to give you some information about the Academia Network, because the Academia Network, which most of you might know, is kind of connected to the project, or to say it in a different way, the idea of the Academia Network was taken further with the Academia Plus project. That's why we called it Academia Plus. And then I would like to give you some general information about the project, tell you something about the project objectives, and show you some of the results and products at the end of this presentation. All right, as you know, that we have a European labor market, a global labor market, I would say, which is in transition. And we have a lot of social challenges in the European societies, and we have a lot of employment challenges for European societies. And one of these changes and challenges is the demographic change. And the demographic change has a significant impact on the labor markets and on societies. As you know, population is getting older, and we have less younger people joining the labor markets, and a lot of older people moving out of the labor market. And that gives a real big gap for companies to find qualified workers. And we also have labor markets that need the integration of migrants and refugees. And we have to think about how to integrate them more efficiently and more effectively. Labor markets are getting more and more international, and we have a more mobile, flexible, and volatile work. Different forms of working contracts, like part-time contracts, full-time contracts, contracts that give you the possibility to work in a home office or remote work, as you know, or we have co-working spaces and crowd working, just to give you some keywords, which you already know. And we have a transformation of the society into an information and knowledge society, and far-reaching effects of future jobs. In Germany, it's so-called labor 4.0. And these backgrounds and these thoughts about how labor markets and societies, especially European societies, change at the moment and which transitions they have to face, we decided to create a project which addresses these backgrounds. And that leads to the fact that counselors must ensure that everyone has the means for lifelong counseling, and that counselors have to have extensive knowledge of the education, training, and guiding systems of European countries, not only of their own countries, but of a variety of European countries regarding the socio-economic context. And this is required by all guidance practitioners. That's the basis we set before we created the project and the project idea. And as we already know, there are some institutions, some networks, some other projects facing these challenges described by me already. For example, the Academia Network. This is a program for guidance practitioners by guidance practitioners. And for more than 25 years, this was the only network, or is the only network in Europe, of practitioners for practitioners in career guidance and counseling. And the main objectives of the Academia Network are to elaborate European training programs for guidance practitioners. And some of you might already have participated in such programs. For example, we will have a program next year at the HdBA at the University of Applied Labor Studies in, I think, May or April. You find it on the Academia Network website or the Euroguidance website, International Mobility, where we will give guidance practitioners a European view about topics that are important for guidance practitioners at the moment, and give them insights in how we handle these topics in Germany. So ideally, guidance practitioners from different European countries will come to us, to Germany, and be part of the program. And I know that there are a lot of other countries establishing such programs where you can go to and focus on different topics related to the background I just spoke about, and give you insights on how they handle these topics in the country you're going to. And this is to strengthen the common cooperation on information and guidance issues. And it also is to promote the exchange of best practices and methodologies among European guidance practitioners. So I can learn from best practice from other countries and think about how to establish such best practices into the practices we have in our country. So one of the main objectives of the Academia Network is to support guidance practitioners in providing better information, guidance, and counseling on education and training opportunities in Europe, and build formal and informal networks across Europe. And these are really good objectives, and this is a really good idea for guidance practitioners. But as we thought about, there isn't something like there are no studies where we could find out what are the main problems in the countries. And most of these programs from the Academia Network are bits and pieces of different topics, but never focus on one topic and give you an insight from different countries and different perspectives. So we thought we could create a project basing on the main ideas of the Academia Network, and then do something even better than the network did or does. So let's give you some general information about the project. So we decided that we wanted to exploit the potential and raise the level of the Academia Network. The project's already over, unfortunately, and we started with the project in December 2018, and we ended the project in August 2021. It was funded by the BMBF with financial support from the EU program Erasmus+, within the framework of the program Erasmus+, KA2, Strategic Partnerships for Higher Education. And project management was at our university, so the University of the Federal Employment Agencies. And we had several project partners. For example, from UK, Aspire iGen Group, the Opportunity Center. From Luxembourg, the Applied Vocational Psychology Policy Research Unit, in short AFOP. And from Portugal, the Sociedade Portuguesa de Inovação, in short SPI, and our technical partner was from Lithuania, Imundus. What were our project objectives? We had two perspectives. First of all, we wanted to support and consolidate the exchanges and transnational trainings of counselors across Europe. And secondly, we wanted to develop and implement topic-focused, transnationally developed and research-based study and training exchange programs as training units to professionalize career counseling personnel from across Europe. So we wanted to link science, practice, and businesses by integrating the different experiences and expertises of different countries and institutions. And we had a European integrative approach to address the background I explained to you, and we focused on 3 topics. And the first topic was the refugee crisis, the second was demographic change, and the third was digitalization or future jobs. So we had a study before we even started the project and asked career guidance practitioners and scientists which are the main topics we have to face now and in the near future in the European countries. And they pointed out these 3 topics are the main topics you have to address if you want to create a program, a training program for career guidance practitioners. And so we decided we have to do a training which is based on different materials, and these materials are also our products and results. So we focused on these 3 topics in 3 one-weekly training weeks or trainings. Topic number 1, counseling migrants and refugees. We created a didactic framework for the whole training program. So a framework which describes how to do the training, which methods will you use, what material do you need, how is the program constituted, and how do you have to work with the participants in the program. And then we had 4 course units or 4 whole days in the program for each C-step, counseling, study, training, exchange program. And for each day, we divided the day into different units, and we wrote also a description for each day and each unit, describing what is the content of the day, what are the main aims we try to reach with that training day, how do we split the training day into different units, how do you have to do the units, so how's the didactics and methods you have to use. Is it single person work? Is it partner work? Is it group work? Which method do you have to use within the group work? Which technical support do you need? And so on and so on. And we even created the training material for each unit, mainly PowerPoint presentations, sometimes videos, or we also had like group work tasks and yeah, like templates, how to solve the tasks, and so on and so on. Furthermore, we created additional content, material, and resources. We have on the Moodle platform a media center and digital learning environment, which you can enter with a guest login. So there you can find all the material we created. You can find each training day for each C-step with all the presentations, with all the group work tasks, with all the results from the group work task, with every template, every video we showed. So you can actually use that material from the Moodle platform, which I show you later on, and go through the whole training by yourself if you want to learn something about it, or even be a multiplier and use the training material and be the trainer for other guidance practitioners in your institution, for example. And we have a web portal for participants, lecturers, and guidance practitioners where you find additional material. For example, like a little flyers where we describe on 1 or 2 pages each training unit, so you can get an overview and decide, is the first topic, counseling migrants and refugees, something I would like to know more about, because we address the content we had in that topics. And yeah, you can see and decide, oh yeah, well, I want to get into that material. And then you enter the Moodle platform, the media center, and get every material you want, for example. So let me show you what we did in detail for each C-step, so for each training week. First of all, we had some preparatory work to do, which is obvious. We had a former project also at the HdBA and together with eMundus from Lithuania, one of our project partners, which was called the seminar project. And the seminar project focused on the topics migrants and refugees. So we analyzed the project results and products from the seminar project and decided which products can we use for our training. It was a project which addressed students at universities, for example, and we were analyzing how do we have to modify the project results to change our target group back from the students and forward to career guidance practitioners. How do we have to switch contents? Which content can we adapt? Which methods can we stick to, and which do we have to get rid of and take other methods? Then we created that didactic framework, which is like a 15 to 20 page paper where we explain the whole training week with every method, with technical support you might need, with everything you need to know about to do that training week on your own, for example, and the description of the course units. And we also had an internal peer review and expert reviews with experts from different European countries, including a review report where they were checking on the selected contents, on the modifications, on the course units, on each training unit, and checking if we do the unit like this, can we reach the aim, the objective we were trying to reach with that unit? Is the content appropriate? Do we have to use other methods? And most of all, is it possible to do that training week online? Because before we were creating the content for the first training week, Corona hits us. As every other project, we were influenced by the consequences of lockdowns and everything. So we originally planned these training weeks as face-to-face training weeks and couldn't manage to do them as everybody else. We had to switch to online, and we asked experts and had internal peer review sessions where we thought about, is it possible what we are planning to do also online? And then with the results from the review reports, we modified our course units, our framework, and so on, and then established a day plan for each training day and went into the trainings. And we implemented the C-step number 1, counseling migrants and refugees, in May and June 2020. So we had 4 days and addressed in Unit 1 a whole day, intercultural awareness as a topic. And then in Unit 2, we had the topic recognition and access to the labor market. Unit 3 was facing potential analysis and empowerment. And in Unit 4, we focused on specific support measures. Originally planned was that all our project partners would hold a training week in their country. So for example, the institution SPI was asked to hold the training week based on our unit descriptions and the didactic framework in Portugal. We, as the HdBA, would hold a training week and give a whole training week to career guidance practitioners coming from Europe to our country in Germany. And also Aspire IGEN was asked to give the training week in the UK. And since we couldn't travel and had to do it online, we decided, well, let's have a look at the advantages this situation might bring to us. We usually planned that we in Germany would give specific country-specific insights to Unit 1, intercultural awareness, from a German perspective. And now that we had to do all those trainings online, we decided, well, the biggest advantage could be that we are not addressing intercultural awareness from a German perspective. we can address, if we do a joint online training from all our partner countries, we can address intercultural awareness from all different partner country perspectives. So we had a perspective from Portugal, we had a UK perspective, we had a German perspective on the topic, a Luxembourg perspective, and added a bigger value to those units. And also we invited experts to the different units from even other countries. We had experts from Cyprus and so on, from Greek, and they gave insight to the topic intercultural awareness or specific support measures for counseling migrants and refugees from their countries. And after we implemented those 4 units, those 4 training days in May and June 2020, we had follow-up work to do as we had evaluation process, including a report and recommendations for broad-scale implementation. So we asked our participants, we asked our speakers and experts during the training days, and also other experts from outside our project partnership to evaluate the trainings we created and give us recommendations on how to implement it on a broad scale basis. And this ended into a report and recommendations for broad scale implementation. And we basically did the same for the second training week, Future Jobs. There's just one difference in the preparatory work, because we couldn't base on a former project we had at the HdBA. So we have to build the training weeks from scratch. So what we did as preparatory work, we had a big literature review in each of our partner countries and wrote country reports about what is the literature saying, what is at the actual discussion about the topic future jobs. Wrote like a 15 to 20 page country report, and then we took all the country reports from our partner countries and wrote a transnational synthesis. And the result of the transnational synthesis was a list of topics related to the overall topic of future jobs, which had to be discussed in all countries we were focusing on. So from a German perspective, the topic future jobs might be viewed a bit different than from a Lithuanian perspective, than from a Greek perspective, and so on. So we actually added like a list at the end of the report of the transnational synthesis, which showed us those subtopics that were relevant in all countries we were focusing on. Furthermore, we had a quantitative online survey of counselors and experts throughout Europe, where we asked pretty much the same. What are the actual subtopics regarding future jobs that needs to be discussed? If you would go to a training week for counselors and guidance practitioners with the title Future Jobs, which would be the subtopics you would need to know more about? And then we actually compared our list from the transnational synthesis and the results from the quantitative online survey and put them together and decided which topics do we have to focus in our 4-day training week regarding future jobs. Then we also wrote a didactic framework, a description for all 4 course units, had internal peer reviews and expert reviews before we started our second training week. And that training, those 4 days, the 4 units were held in March 2021. And we focused on Industry 4.0 and the impact on work. We were talking about challenges and opportunities for companies in Industry 4.0. We discussed future trends for a whole day. And we were focusing on new skills and competencies on during unit number 4. And also after that C-step, we had follow-up work, including the evaluation process and a report and recommendations for broad-scale implementation. For the 3rd training week for the third C-step demographic change, we had exactly the same preparatory work as for the C-step 2. So the literature review, country reports, the survey, we wrote the didactic framework, the course unit descriptions, and we had detailed review process. The training took place in May 2021, and we focused on challenges of an older workforce, retraining in later life, realigning the expectations of the labor market, and multi-generational collaboration. And after that, we also had evaluation processes going on, and those resulted in a report and recommendations for broad-scale implementation. Just to give you some details or insights about how attractive that program was, or how many people took part in our project. C-step 1, just try to remember it was all online, and during Corona or COVID-19, we had a rising number of online trainings, as you might know. So the variety and the possibilities to choose were very, very big. And we were lucky, really, really lucky to have 47 participants for our online training. Originally planned, we had 10 participants per partner country. So we even reached a higher number of participants, and they came from Denmark, Estonia, Germany, Greece, Italy, Lithuania, Malta, Norway, Poland, Slovenia, Spain, and we even had 3 participants from non-EU countries, which is another big advantage of the online training, because originally we only planned to have participants from European countries, and now we had the possibility to even invite participants from the US, and also 1 participant from Africa and an Asian participant. And during those 4 days of online training, we had 16 different experts and speakers from different countries. And we had an even larger number of participants during C-step 2. We had 89 participants from Belgium, Czech Republic, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Italy, Ireland, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Slovenia, Spain, and we had 10 non-European participants. And we could also exchange the numbers, or enhance the numbers of experts and speakers. We had 18 different experts and speakers joining us during the training and giving insights on different subtopics from their country perspective. C-step number 3 was lucky to have 70 participants, and they also came from a big variety of countries. We had participants from Denmark, again, from Germany, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Ireland, Latvia, Luxembourg, Portugal, Romania, Slovenia, Slovakia, the United Kingdom, and 4 non-European participants, and we had 17 experts and speakers. Not everybody, as you can see by the number of participants, joined all 3 C-steps, which was pretty fine for us. But we actually had a couple of people, I would say 10 participants, who joined all 3 C-steps. So join us for all the training days. And the professional background from our participants and experts was also a very wide background. We had professional career counselors from local, governmental, and non-governmental organizations. We had people from local private companies. We had participants from psychological institutions, from universities, from refugee organizations, but also freelancers and students. And I told you that we created, beside the C-steps, 2 other results. For example, the web portal for participants, lecturers, and guidance practitioners. You can find the web portal under academiaplus.eu. And just give you insight here. You have general information about the project. You will find all reports. You will find the so-called fact sheets, as you can see down below here, for each C-step, for each topic. and for each unit. And the fact sheet will give you an overview about the documents you can find on the Media Center, about the agenda for the unit and the overall topics, the content and the aims for that unit. And on the web portal, you will also find the didactic framework, as I told you before, and the detailed unit descriptions. And our Media Center and learning environment is based on the Moodle platform. So you just enter academiaplus.eu/Moodle/, and you can enter with a guest login. And there you find the presentations, work assignments for individual and group work, work results as sample solutions, chat and discussion transcripts. We also took all the information from the chat protocols that we created throughout the trainings and put them here, and additional resources and materials. So for each unit, we researched further literature, further websites where to go through. We collected all the hints from participants where you can find further information from their countries and added that into lists on the Moodle platform. And furthermore, we recorded every session, every presentation where we were allowed to record them, and put the videos of the lecturers onto the Moodle platform as well. All right. So let me give you an insight into what we did, for example, how we created one unit. And one of the units from the second training program was challenges and opportunities for companies within Industry 4.0. So the second C-step, Future Jobs, had Unit 2, Challenges and Opportunities. And one of the units faced the topic challenges. And one of the challenges we figured out from our surveys and from our literature review was the challenge change. So we had a unit about change and resilience to it. And we started in that unit with the question, what is change to you? So we kind of interconnected with our participants. I can see that there are some chat.
Those are the web links that I've typed in, so they're easier for the participants.
I thought it might be questions, but no, that's even better. Yeah, so we asked the question, what is change to you? I would just give you a minute to think about it for yourself. You don't have to answer me. You can write it in the chat if you want to, but you can think on your own. What is change to you? All right, you might have an idea now what change to you means. And we asked our participants as well and collected a variety of answers. For example, change is the ability to improve yourself or what you're doing. Change means that you're not standing still, that you are in constant movement. And not only regarding your job or the labor market, also regarding private things. Change means do something different to be someone better, for example, or thinking a different way to adapt yourself. Create the opportunity to move forward. Having a non-static vision of the future was one answer we received. Or change means the opportunity to not get stuck or even move backwards. We also had an answer. Change is brought to our lives from the outside, is often unplanned or even planned from ourselves, which is the second part of it. Or maybe it is a combination of desire for something different and initial action for change. And after we collected those answers after brainstorming, we showed some videos to see what other people were thinking about. And then asked, what is a change in relation to the world of work and the persons to be advised? And there, for example, and you can find them in a publication from the HdBA, for example, you will find globalization and migration. This is a big issue of the transforming world of work at the moment. Demographic change, transition to a knowledge-based society. Topic: future jobs, atypical forms of employment, and individualization of employment biographies. And after we collected that and had an idea of what change is for me in general and what different transitions we have to face in the world of work and the persons to be advised, we showed some videos again to get an insight of what might the future of work look like. And I don't want to, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to show you the videos now. I just want to give you a hint where to find something about the question, what might the future of work look like? And I can recommend the Cognizant Center for the Future of Work. That center gives a possible answer of what the future of work would look like by listing jobs for the future. And they listed 21 jobs for the future in 2020, and they listed 21 more jobs of the future, a guide to getting and staying employed, in the year 2021 as well. And they give pretty interesting insight of what jobs might look like and what skills you would need to fulfill that job and the requirements of the job. And here you can find the link in the presentation, and the presentation is already, I already sent it to you, I think, Ilse. So you can have a look onto that website later on. And after we showed, throughout the unit, we showed our participants those videos where they explained some of the jobs of the future and what is required to fulfill those jobs. We asked our participants what barriers to change might advice-seeking people have. And this is an overview about the answers they gave. And the biggest barrier figured out is fear. Fear of change, uncertainty, insecurity. Great. So I think I pretty much ended with the biggest barrier is fear, insecurity, uncertainty, and so on. And second biggest barrier is lack of education, is what the participants we had in that unit answered. And then furthermore, we have a mental closure, for example, missing digital skills, lack of advisor, the lack of technical skills, the missing will to change, or the missing resilience to change. A barrier could be that I'm not willing or not able to learn new skills, or that I don't have every information I need for the change. And after that, we asked our participants what barriers to change might companies have. And as you can see, a lot of participants answered a lack of knowledge. A financial barrier could be possible. Rigidity, lack of adaptability, too much needs to be done, the inability to adapt, investing into standardized things, but not into innovative things, for example, or an unsupportive top management. The leaders lack insight, unclear rules, a lack of manpower, lack of competence, lack of experts. Could be a possibility, or could be possible barriers that, set a stop to change. And after that, we wanted to after collecting what changes are current topics, what barriers might we face, we wanted to focus on resilience throughout that unit, as resilience is one of the key competences to change or barriers to change. And then we read out the fable of Aesop throughout that unit, the oak and the reeds, and let me read it out for you. A giant oak stood near a brook in which grew some slender reeds. When the wind blew, the great oak stood proudly upright, with its 100 arms uplifted to the sky. But the reeds bowed low in the wind and sang a sad and mournful song. "You have reason to complain," said the oak. "The slightest breeze that ruffles the surface of the water makes you bow your heads, while I, the mighty oak, stand upright and firm before the howling tempest." "Do not worry about us," replied the reeds. "The winds do not harm us. We bow before them, and so we do not break. You, in all your pride and strength, have so far resisted their blows, but the end is coming." And as the reeds spoke, a great hurricane rushed out of the north. The oak stood proudly and fought against the storm, while the yielding reeds below bowed low, and the wind redoubled in fury. And all at once the great tree fell, torn up by the roots, and lay among the pitying reeds. Folly to resist, than to resist stubbornly and be destroyed. And after that, we had a discussion question. What does this tell us about resilience and its components? And the components of resilience are reality, meaning, and ritualized ingenuity. So with that fable, we were trying to give another way to face one of the key competencies, to have a look at one of the key competencies to change, which is resilience. And then we discussed how these key competence is constructed. And reality as one component means that I'm facing down reality, that I have a sober view, that I have a down-to-earth view, a sense of possibility, that I'm not a dreamer, but that I look at what is possible for me, and then focus on those possibilities and truly understand and accept the reality of the situation.
May I inform you that we're nearing the close of the session?
Mm-hmm. I'm also nearing the close.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, meaning as the second component means the search for meaning, a way to build bridges from like the present day situation, the hardship I might feel now that I know that I have to change, to a fuller and better constructed future. And that I'm not asking myself, why me? But I'm asking myself, why not me? And that I create concrete goals, and then that I have a strong value system to focus on those goals. And the third component is a ritualized ingenuity, that I use what I have at hand, that I make do of what I have around me, that I use my resources, and that I have the ability to improvise, make the most of what I have. And then afterwards, we had another discussion questions. How can these components help you to overcome the barriers to change? Like, for example, to prepare you to move forward, create something new, help you proceeding to a new reality and have something better. Although I might not have proceeded the best I imagined before, I have optimism and hope and so on. And all the material for that unit, the description, what I just gave to you, on how to go through that unit, you find on our Moodle platform. And after the project ended, we were lucky to have a couple of participants joining us for an anthology, a book where we focused on the 3 megatrends and their challenges from the project, from a transnational perspective. So we included more different countries than we had in the project. And we have a different European views and respective national challenges, particularities and needs, and also approaches dealing with the problems and solving them from 8 different countries. And the book is for an audience with an interest at transnational level, and also serves the international exchange of experiences of career counselors in all its facets. And you also find the link for the electronic version in the presentation. And as I said, I'm coming to an end now. I would like to thank you for your attention about the information about the Academia Plus project. Thank you so much. And I'll stop my presentation.
Oh, thank you so much for your presentation on a very rich and multifaceted project. Congratulations on the excellent attendance and results. And thank you very much for sharing the links to the materials. I think it's a very exciting opportunity to have access to such a thoroughly developed training program on very interesting topics. Do we have any last questions before we close this session? Would anybody like to write a question in the chat or perhaps unmute? In any case, Jane, may I ask you to write your email in the chat? Perhaps colleagues then can get back to you at some later time. Thank you so much. I don't see anybody very eager to take the floor at the moment. There was a lot of food for thought. Then we will rely on the opportunity to be in touch with you later. Thank you so much again, Jane. Thank you for everybody who joined the session today. Enjoy the rest of the event.